So let's continue with the flat slab. Today we'll see one example having both drop as well as column head. So the data is design an interior panel of a flat slab uh, having equal panels. So you have uh, equal panels 6 by 6 meter, this is 6 meter and 6 meter. So no need to calculate everything for longs and short here, only for one direction it will be okay. The building is braced with shear wall. The panels have a drop 3 meter by 3 meter size. So uh, each on each column we have a drop of size 3 meter by 3 meter. So actually 3 meter means 1.5 on each side. Okay, so you have a drop of size 3 meter by 3 meter. The depth of the drop is 250 mm and that of slab is 200 mm. Means if you draw a section here, so I'm just enlarging the view. So here it is 200, then where there is a drop it is 250. Okay, so here your depth is 200 and here the depth is 250. This and this is drop. uh, the internal columns are 500 mm dia, so the diameter of this column is 500 mm, and the column head is 1000 mm. So you have a column head also, so around this you have a column head, so it would be like this. So this is your column head and this is column. The diameter of column is 500 mm, the diameter of column is 1000 mm. The story height above and below is 4 meter. So the story height above the floor and below the floor is 4 meter height. Okay. So you have story height is equals to 4 meter, and dead load is equals to self weight plus additional 2.7 kilonewton for floor finish and partition wall. So this is in addition to the self weight of the slab. So 2.7 floor accounts for the floor finish and wall partitions. Then live load is 4 kiloton per meter square, and the materials are M20 and Fe415 HYSD bars. So first step is to find the loads. So the average load due to the weight of the slab and drop. So if you see this figure, you have a panel size of 6 meter by 6 meter, and in which you have a drop of 3 meter. So uh, the total is 6 meter by 6 meter, that is at 200 mm. Okay, the thickness of this slab is 200 mm, and this 3 by 3 uh, portion is having a width of additional 50 mm because it is 250. So you have additional 50 mm here. So you will have 3 into 3, uh, that is of additional 50 mm. So so here what they have done, they have taken 3 by 3 into 250 mm thickness plus 27 into 200 mm thickness, and then they have converted this for the uh, total area of 6 by 6. So otherwise you can do this way also. See, you have 6 by 6, so 6 into 6, 6 into 6 into 0.2 plus 3 into 3 into 0.05. So this is the total load, uh, but you have to find out for the this multiply by 25, multiply by 25. So but you have to find it for the uh, per square meter. So you divide these values with the total area, that is 6 by 6. So you will get, how much is this value? 6 into 6 into uh, 0.2 into 25 plus 3 into 3 into 0.05 into 25 divided by 36. So it will be 5.31, 5.3125, 5.3125 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so which is this value. Okay, this is your dead load and this is your live load. So if you do this by this way, then also it will be the same only. See what they have done, 3 by 3 full 250 mm thickness they have taken. Okay, and so they have taken this area as full area. This okay, and then the remaining area is, see, out of 6 by 6 plan area, the 3 by 3 is deducted. So the remaining is 36 minus 9, that is 27. So the remaining 27 is having a thickness of 200 mm thickness. So this part is having a thickness of 200 mm thickness. So so this is 27 into 0.2. Okay, and the red one is 9 into 0.25. So likewise this is the drop portion, and this is the slab portion, remaining slab portion. Remaining slab portion. Okay, and whole multiplied by density of the concrete divided by plan area. so you will get per square meter dead load. Then floor finish is given to you as 2.7 kilonewton per meter square, and live load is 4 kilonewton per meter square, so that is this. Okay, so zero dead load. So total is 5.3 plus 2.7, so 8 kilonewton per meter square, and this is live load is 4 kilonewton per meter square. So total load is total factored load is 1.5 times this 8 plus 4, so that is 12 plus 6. Okay, so you can write total is 18 kilonewton per meter square, out of which this is dead load and this is live load. So your dead load to live load ratio is your live load to dead load ratio is 0.5. Live load to dead load ratio is 6 by 12, that is 0.5. So here your live load to dead load ratio is less than or equal to 0.5, so you don't need to check for the effect of pattern loading. Suppose this value is greater than 0.5, then same as example 1, you have to check for the effect of pattern loading also. Okay, so this is the uh, plan view. This is your drop. This is column head. Here the column head equivalent rectangular area of the column head is shown, and this is your column. Okay, you can find out the equivalent rectangular area of a circular column head by equating the areas of square of the equating the area of the column head with the square, you will get the width of the square. So see, this is 500 mm, this is 1000 mm, that is the diameter of the column head. This is column head, column, then this is drop, and this part is slab part. So you have a 50 mm projection below the soffit of the slab for the drop near the columns, 200 mm thickness of the slab. Then this 40 mm is for the this column head. Wherever there is a column head, see, this is the slab portion, this is the drop, and then wherever there is a column head, the 40 mm some kicker or starter is provided, and then uh, it will be like this. So this additional 40 mm is for the this is straight portion, and then you have the column. 200, this is 50, this is 40, and this depth, the depth of the column head is 750. The diameter of this is 500, the diameter of this is 1000. Okay, the thickness here is 250, thickness here is 200. Okay, so this is the details of your column head. So next step is to find out the strip width. So width of the column strip will be equal to the width of the drop. So if you refer the provisions, actually we have covered in earlier lectures. So if you refer the code, so there is a that is given in the clause that if your flat slab is having a drop, then the width of the column strip is equal to the width of the drop. Okay, so here the drop width is 3000 mm, 3 meter, so your strip width is also 3 meter. So remaining is 6 minus 3, so the middle strip is also 3 meter. Okay, so in this figure, if I draw this, this is your column strip. Here we are considering only one direction because the we have same size of the panel along both the direction. So this is your column strip, this is also column strip. The width of the column strip is width of the this drop panel, so it is 3 meter. This is also 3 meter, and the total is 6 meter. uh, from see from here to here it is 6 meter. So your middle strip will be equal to, your middle strip is also 3 meter. See 1.5 from this side and 1.5 from this side. So 6 minus 3, so the remaining is 3 meter. Okay, so your width of the column strip is 3 meter on each 3 meter, and your middle strip is also 3 meter. Okay, so this is 3 meter and this is 3 meter. Now the effective depths are calculated as follow. The column strip negative moment using 12 mm diameter, so it will be 250. See near the column strip, the the depth of the slab is 250 mm. Okay, wherever there is a column strip, if you see this section here, the depth is 250 mm. So 250 minus clear cover, this is clear cover. Okay, minus 12 mm this diameter of the bar, and half the diameter for the second layer, so it will be 217 mm. Okay, now this is for the negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement means the bars here, this will be provided on the top of this in the top portion wherever there is a drop. Then the column strip positive moment, here will take 200 mm thickness, because uh, your slab thickness is 200 mm. So you whenever you provide reinforcement, you have to extend the reinforcement in the column strip to some part of the this reinforcement in the column strip to the slab also. So since there is a offset here, it will not be possible, or else you have to terminate the reinforcement from somewhere away from the offset. So what we do, we provide the reinforcement uh, at this layer only. Okay, so we do not provide reinforcement here, but the reinforcement goes throughout, where the positive reinforcement in the slab will continue in the column strip also. So we cannot take the advantage of the additional depth here, so that is why we'll take this as 200 mm thickness, whereas the top reinforcement is provided like this. Okay, and it is provided and since we have the same surface, top surface for the portion having drop, and for the remaining portion, this reinforcement can go throughout. Okay, so for this part we can have the 250 mm overall depth we can consider for the effective depth, but for the positive reinforcement which is provided at the bottom, we have to continue the reinforcement from the slab. So that is why it is 200 mm. So it is 200 mm minus clear cover. Okay, this is slab thickness and this is drop thickness. This is for the positive reinforcement and this is for the negative reinforcement. And here we'll be providing 10 mm diameter bar in the bottom. So full diameter of the 10 mm bar and half the diameter for the second layer. So it will be 170 mm thickness. And for the middle strip, the positive and negative, it will be the same 170 mm thickness. Okay, in the middle strip, this bar for positive as well as negative, it will be calculated with respect to 200 mm thickness only. So it will be the same as the positive reinforcement in the column strip. Okay, so with this we have the effective depths. Now find out the stiffnesses. Now here we'll neglect the effect of the column head. So your formula is K stiffness is 4 EI by L. So L is 4 meter because your upper and lower story height is 4 meter. So the effective column length is 4 meter here. And since the columns are circular, so your I value, that is moment of inertia, is pi by 64 d raised to 4. Here I is equals to pi by 64 d raised to 4 because circular columns are there. Okay, then stiffness of the slab is 6 meter by 250 whole cube whole divided by 600. So the width effective in resisting, so it will be 600 mm B, and the thickness is 250 mm. Okay, and the length of this is also 6 meter. So that is why this 6. Okay, so you will get stiffness of the slab as this formula. Both are in terms of E. We are not putting the value of E here. Then the ratio of stiffness of the column to stiffness of the slab is 0.589. Okay, the alpha C value is 0.589. Now the effect of the pattern loading, that is live load to dead load ratio, is here in our case it is 0.5. We have seen this here, this ratio is 0.5. So effect of pattern loading is not to be considered. Okay, because live load to dead load ratio is less than or equal to 0.5. Now the reinforcement, design of reinforcement. So here we'll consider the column head diameter in the column head into an equivalent rectangular. Okay, so this we are converting into equivalent rectangular. So you can do this by equating the area of the column head. So area of column head is equals to pi by 4 into 1000 square, and you equate it with the area of the equivalent square, that is area of equivalent square. So area of equivalent square is b by b. If b is the width of the square, then it will be b square b. So you can write b is equals to square root of pi by 4 into 1000 square. So this is pi by 4 into 1000 square. So you will get the width of the square as 886 mm, or let us say 880 mm. Okay, so So yeah, for the design purpose, we will convert the rectangular this circular column head into a square column head. We'll convert this into a square column head of size 880 mm. Okay, this is also 880 mm. Okay, so this circular in plan is now converted into equivalent square. So your ln will be now your ln is face to face distance between the value of ln is nothing but the face to face distance between the either column or the column head, okay, or bracket, whichever obstruction is there. So here the face to face distance will be totally 6 meter. 6 meter minus half the width of the column head from on both the side. So it will be 6 minus this value 0.88. So that will be 5.12. So this width will be 5.12 meter. So your ln value is 5.12 meter. Okay, so face to face ln is nothing but the face to face distance between the column head. So this is nothing but face to face distance between column head. Okay, ln. So you can now find out the total absolute moment. So total absolute moment, that is m naught. Now here along the long direction as well as short direction it is same because the width of the panels are same. So it will be w l2 ln square by 8. So here the total load is wu is this 18 kilonewton. Okay, the sum of the dead load plus live load. So it is 18 into width transverse to the width under consideration, that is 6 meter, and ln square, that is 5.12 square divided by 8. So this is your total absolute moment. Okay, now out of this total absolute moment we'll find out the total negative moment and total positive moment, and then we'll find out what fraction of this total positive moment shared by the column strip and middle strip, and what fraction of the total negative moment shared by the column strip and middle strip, same as example number 1. So then we find out the unbalanced moment. The unbalanced moment formula is same as earlier. 0.08 wd is the dead load plus 0.5 live load, l2 ln. This is for the span under consideration, and this factor w dash wd dash l2 dash and ln dash square, these are for the adjacent span. Okay, these values are for the adjacent span, and these are for the span under consideration. These values are for the span under consideration. Now since we have same adjacent span, means we assume that the same panel width on the left side or the right side, or on the upper side or the lower side. So your these parameters will be the same as this one. Okay, so it is the total dead load is 12 and live load is 6 into 0.5 into 6. Transverse length is 6 meter and ln is 5.12 square. So same values here divided by alpha c. So this is the unbalanced moment. Okay, now Now, as we know that this is the total unbalanced moment will be shared by the shear couple and the flexural couple. The flexural couple plus the shear couple. So we have to find out the factor gamma by which the fraction of this total unbalanced moment shared by the flexural couple and the shear couple. So here book they have used alpha, but in the theory we have used this term as gamma, so we will be using this as gamma. Okay, so gamma is equals to 1 by 1 plus 2 by 3 of a1 by a2, where a1 and a2 are the width of the critical section. So the width of the critical section is suppose this is our square, uh, that is the uh, column head, equivalent column head, and let us say this is the column, and the width of the critical section will be this. So this is your uh, a1, and this is your a2. Now a1 and a2 both are, see, this width is 880 mm. We have converted this diameter into equivalent. This diameter is 500 mm. Okay, so 880, this will be 880 plus the uh, the d by 2 offset here and d by 2 offset here. Okay, d by 2 offset here and d by 2 offset here. So you have to add d by 2 plus d by 2, say that is d. So and your effective depth d is 217. Okay, so plus 217, so this will be 1097 mm, and this will also be the same because your this width is also 880 mm, so it will also be 880 plus 217 is equals to 1097 mm. Okay, so now this, so by substituting the value of this a1 and a2, you will get a factor of 0.6. Okay, so you multiply the total unbalanced moment, this total unbalanced moment with factor this 0.6, so you will get the moment unbalanced moment shared by unbalanced moment shared by flexural couple. Okay, and the remaining will be shared by the unbalanced moment shared by shear couple. So now we'll find the reinforcement required to resist this unbalanced moment shared by the flexural couple. So your mu is 8.4 kilonewton meter, and the width resisting this will be, we have seen in the earlier lectures also, the width resisting this flexural shear is, uh, if d is the depth of the slab, overall depth of the slab, so so it will be resisted by, so this is your column head. Okay, so it will be resisted by this, let us say this is a2. If this is a2, this width, and this is, let us say, a1, so it will be resisted by a2 plus 3 times the depth of the slab, means 1.5 depth, 1.5d on this side and 1.5d, oh wait, means this is, if this is a2, and if this is a1. Hello, अरे, so so it will be 1.5 d offset from this side and 1.5 d from this side. Same way here also, if this is, this will be a1 plus 1.5 d and 1.5 d on this side. So your 880 is your a2 plus 2 times 1.5 times the d. So this is the formula is your a2 plus, you can write 3 times d, or 1.2 times 1.5, means 1.5 d on each side times d. So the effective width resisting this will be, this is 1630 mm. So this width will resist the unbalanced moment. So this width, this entire width will resist the unbalanced moment. Okay, so and the effective depth at this location, your effective depth for this part is 217 mm. Okay, so your mu by bd square will be 8.4 divided by the width and d square, so it is 0.109. Okay, now uh, this this is less than the steel already provided here. Okay, so no need to provide additional flexural shear, flexural reinforcement for this, because this 1.22, see this mu upon vd square is 0.109. Okay, 0.109, and mu by bd square for the column strip here is 1.22. so whatever the reinforcement you provide for this will be more than the reinforcement you provide for this, so no need of extra reinforcement. Okay, now we find the reinforcement in the column strip and the middle strip, positive as well as negative reinforcement, and here only long or short both, the table will be the same. Now we have seen that in the column strip the effective depth is, for negative reinforcement it is 217 mm. Okay, and this is 170 mm, 170 mm, 170 mm. Okay, so Now the negative moment in the column strip will be 0.65. This is 0.65 into m naught is the total moment. So mu negative in the column strip is equal to 0.75 m negative. Okay, m naught negative. Okay, so we can write 0.75 into m naught negative is nothing but 0.65 m naught. Okay, so here 0.65 into m naught is your total absolute moment, which is this value 353.9. so you substitute here, you will get the negative moment in the column strip. Same way the positive moment in the column strip, mu column strip will be it will be 0.60 into m naught positive. Okay, so we can write 0.6. now m naught positive is remaining of this. So if this is the negative moment, so remaining is 0.35 total absolute moment. Okay, so substituting this, you will get this value. And your middle strip negative reinforcement in the middle strip is equal to, you can write it as CS. So in the middle strip it will be the remaining whatever the remaining moment is there. Suppose the total negative moment is m naught, so m naught minus mu minus CS. Okay, and the positive moment in the middle strip will be m naught total positive moment, that is this value. Okay, minus this value, minus. So by this way you can find out the total absolute moment, total moment in the positive and negative moment in the column strip and middle strip. Then we find the mu upon bd square. You have the value of d, you have the value of width also. See, this is your bcs, width of the column strip, and this is bms, width of the middle strip. So you put these values and find mu upon bd square. From there you can find out the value of pt, and then from pt you can find out the ast. Now this ast is for the width of 3 meter. Okay, so you find it for the per meter width divided by the width divided by width, you will get the per meter area of the steel required. Then you provide the area of the steel and ensure that whatever the steel you provide is greater than the required. Okay, so this is your ast per meter provided, and this is your ast this is required. Okay, and then we check for the shear. So the critical section for the shear is d by 2, so 217 by 2 from the face of the support. So it will be your critical section will be 880 plus this 217 by 2. So it will be 880 plus 217 by 2, that is multiply it with the 2. So it will be on each side, so it will be 1097 mm. So we'll find the shear at this critical location. Before that, so your permissible stress, it is same as earlier, because the grade of the concrete is 20 m20, so it will be 1.118. Okay, so permissible shear stress is 118. Actually this page is rotated, so so you then your tau allowable is 1.118 Newton per mm square. Then next step is to find out the shear. The punching shear will be 6 meter by 6 meter minus the width of the critical section. So width of the critical section is 1.097. So minus 1.097 into 1.097, so multiply by total load is 18. Okay, 12 dead load and 6 live load. So you will get the shear. So this shear is 6 to 6.34 kilonewton. Okay, this is your punching shear. So and this shear will be resisted by the width equal to 2 into 1.097 plus 1.097. So it will be 1.097 into 4. So it will be 4.388 meter. Okay, and the depth resisting the shear will be 217 mm. So you can find out the shear stress. So tau v, we call it tau v1 is equals to the 626.34 into 10 to the power 3 divided by b naught, that is 4.388 into point. Here you can convert this in mm also, so you will get in Newton per mm square. So it will be 4388 into 217. So this comes out to be 0.658, 0.658 Newton per mm square. Okay, now this is the punching shear. Next we have to find out for the unbalanced moment shared by the shear couple. So shear stress, next we will find out shear stress due to, this is shear stress due punching stress. This is punching shear stress. Okay, now we'll find shear stress due to unbalanced moment. Unbalanced moment shared by shear couple. So for that we need, that is tau v2. Tau v2 is nothing but your unbalanced moment shared by the shear, that is m uv into c, that is the distance from the extreme fiber, divided by jc, that is the polar moment of inertia. So you find the jc. The jc, the same formula will be using for the interior panels. So you will get the value of jc as 1.893 into 10 to the power 11 mm raised to 4, and your c value will be this half of the this value, because we are designing interior panel, so no need to find out the centroid of the critical section. Here your centroid of the critical section from the extreme face will be half of the width of the critical section. So half the width of critical section, that is 1097 by 2. So it will be 1097 by 2. So it will be 548.5 mm. And your unbalanced moment shared by shear muv is equal to, see, this is your muv, that is unbalanced moment shared by the bending, and this is muv, unbalanced moment shared by the shear, so that is 5.6. So here it is 5.6 kilonewton meter. So you substitute this 5.6 into 10 to the power 6 into 548.5 divided by this value 1.893 into 10 to the power 11. Okay, so you will get the value of tau v2 as 0.016 Newton per mm square. So the total shear stress, so total shear stress tau v is equals to tau v1 plus tau v2, so that will be your 0.658, 0.658 plus this value, that is 0.016. So it will be 0.658 plus 0.016, so it will be 0.674, 0.674 Newton per mm square. Now this value is less than your tau allowable, okay, less than tau allowable, which is equals to 1.118 Newton per mm square. Okay, so your shear is also satisfied. So then you can provide the reinforcement you have calculated. So here the reinforcement provided is 12 mm dia at 140 center in column strip. Okay, negative reinforcement means in the top of the column strip, and this is in the bottom of the column strip, 10 dia 140 center. So you can see this a section through column strip. The top reinforcement is 12 dia 170 center to center, and the bottom reinforcement 10 dia 170 center to center. Okay, so in the bottom it will be 10 dia 170 center to center, this one. And in the middle strip it is provided 8 dia 140 center to center in the negative reinforcement, and 8 dia 170 center to center in the positive, as a positive strip. So you go through the section through middle strip, it is 8 dia 170 center to center, and 8 dia 170 center to center. Okay, and in the negative it is 8 dia 170 to center, and another is 8 dia 140 center to center. Dia 170 center. See here it is shown as 12 dia 170 center to center, both in the uh, negative and positive both. 8 dia 170 center to center, so there is a mistake, some mistake here. Let us check this value. Okay, but this is so some see some this value has to be 8 dia 170 center to center, the one that goes through 8 dia 170 center to center. Okay, and in the column strip this value is 12 dia 170 140. So 12 dia 170 is nowhere, so this is to be checked. So some mistake is there here. So with this your design of flat slab is over. I will share this note with you. You can go through this, and if you have any doubt then we'll discuss in the next class. Okay, and from the next class onwards we'll start with the water retaining structures, that is water tanks, design of water tanks. Okay, so we stop here. If you have any doubt we can discuss. Okay, so let's stop here.